Hi everyone, welcome to our video podcast. I'm Kit Esho, your host for today. And we're exploring animal rights through a deeply meaningful perspective, the profound lenses of Christian ethics.
And I'm Hannah Ocampo, your other host. You're right, Keith. In this episode, we'll connect Jesus' teachings and Christian principles to how we understand and respond to animal welfare, especially regarding the critical issues animals face today.
That's right. We'll delve into how biblical wisdom informs our action, from the ongoing challenges of animal cruelty to recent studies highlighting their plight here in the Philippines.
Our goal is to provide a fresh understanding of how our faith calls us to act with greater compassion and justice for all of God's creation. Let's get started, shall we?
We have here today Miss Charlie Santiago to give a recap of Animal Rights Podcast Episode 1. Please watch it if you haven't yet because it is very informative. Also, to give you a little context of what you're going to expect today.
In this segment, I will provide a brief recap of the ethical foundations discussed in Episode 1, focusing on how they relate to the topic of animal rights. We began by exploring two major ethical theories, utilitarianism as presented by Peter Singer and deontology as advocated by Tom Regan. Singer's utilitarian approach emphasizes the moral importance of minimizing suffering and maximizing well-being for all sentient beings, including animals. This perspective challenges the traditional human-centered view by arguing that animal suffering should be given equal consideration in ethical decision-making. In contrast, Regan's deontological framework asserts that animals possess inherent rights because they are subjects of a life. This means that animals have experiences, preferences, and a sense of self, which makes them morally significant and deserving of respect, regardless of the consequences. These theories introduced us to several key ethical themes. One of them is speciesism, which refers to the unjust discrimination against beings based solely on their species. This concept calls into question the moral legitimacy of treating animals as inferior to humans. Another theme is animal personhood, which advocates for recognizing animals as legal and moral entities, not merely as property or resources. Additionally, we discussed veganism and sustainability as ethical responses to animal exploitation. These practices aim to reduce harm to animals while promoting environmental responsibility and healthier lifestyle. As we transition from secular ethics to a Christian ethical lens, we begin to see animal rights through the teaching of the Bible. Scripture emphasizes compassion, stewardship, and justice, not only for humans but for all God's creation. The Christian perspective invites us to reflect on how our treatment of animals aligns with the values of love, mercy, and care that Jesus exemplified. In doing so, we recognize that animals are not just part of the natural world, they are part of a divine creation that deserves our respect and protection.
Alam mo, di lang basta issue ng batas o advocacy ang animal rights. May mas malalim itong moral at spiritual dimension. It's about how we, as humans, connect with all of creations. Our treatment of animals truly reflects our core values and our sense of responsibility beyond just following rules.
Tama. Sa part na to, pag-uusapan natin kung paano natin pwedeng i-connect ang teachings ni Jesus sa animal welfare. Kasi si Jesus, hindi lang siya nag-sermon because he acted and loved. His practical love offers us a powerful framework for addressing animal suffering in very tangible ways, even in our modern world.
Sa John chapter 9 at Mark chapter 6 verse 34, makikita nating tumulong si Jesus in real, practical ways. Ganon din dapat tayo pagdating sa animal abuse.
Hindi sapat ang panalangin, kailangan rin natin ng aksyon. Dapat ayusin ng mga animal shelters para maging ligtas at maayos. Kailangan rin mabigyan ng tahanan ng mga stray animals. At higit sa lahat, turuan ng mga tao, lalo na ang kabataan, na maging mabait sa mga hayop na nakapaligid sa atin.
May study nga si Jane noong 2020, malaking epekto ang naibigay ng education at community programs sa pag-improve ng pagtrato ng mga tao sa hayop. Kapag tinuruan ng community, lalo na ang kabataan tungkol sa compassion at animal welfare, mas lumalawak yung awareness at mas nababawasan ng cruelty.
Sabi ni Jesus, "Love one another as I have loved you." Yung love niya ay hindi marahas o mapanghusga. Ito ay puno ng pag-unawa, tiyaga at malasakit. Ipinakita nito na ang tunay na pagmamahal ay may gawa. Kung mahal talaga natin ang kapwa at ang hinilikha ng Diyos, kasama rito ang paggalang sa hayop na nakapaligid sa atin.
So kung may mga taong hindi pa aware or educated tungkol sa animal rights, hindi tamang i-cancel agad. Hindi lahat ay may alam kaagad. Mas makakatulong kung kakausapin sila ng maayos at tuturuan. Tulad ng itinuro ni Jesus, ang pagbabago ay mas effective kapag may pag-unawa, pasensya at tunay na malasakit, hindi galit o panghuhusga.
Tulad ng sinabi sa 2024 report sa Manila Bulletin, mas nagiging effective ang pagbabago kapag may empathy, hindi judgment. Kapag naramdaman ng tao na nauunawaan sila, mas bukas silang tumatanggap ng bagong kaalaman. Sa halip na i-condemn, mas mainam ang approach na may pag-unawa at pakikinig. Dahil dito, nagsisimula ang tunay na pagbabago at pananaw ng isang tao.
Si Jesus, lagi siyang nasa tabi ng mga outcast, yung mga lepers, sinners at mahihirap. Sa panahon ngayon, ang mga hayop tulad ng strays at abused pets ang naiiwan at napapabayaan. Kaya tayo dapat ang kumilos at manindigan para sa kanila.
Kaya tayong may boses, responsibilidad nating magsalita para sa mga hayop na hindi kayang ipagtanggol ang kanilang sarili. Dapat nating suportahan ang mga batas na nagpoprotekta sa kanila at isulong ang kanilang karapatan. Higit sa lahat, ituring nating mahalagang bahagi na nilikha ng Diyos. Hindi lang sila background o extra sa mundong ito.
Sabi rin ng isang 2024 journal, malala pa rin ang problema ng neglect sa mga stray animals sa Pilipinas. Marami ang gutom, may sakit at iniiwan sa lansangan. Pinapakita nito na hindi sapat ang kasalukuyang aksyon. Kailangan natin ng mas maraming taong kikilos, tutulong at pagsusulong ng pagbabago para mabigyan ng dignidad at proteksyon ng mga hayop.
Sa John chapter 8, 1-11, nahuli ang isang babae sa kasalanan pero hindi siya hinusgahan ni Jesus. Pinatawad niya ito at binigyan ng pagkakataong magbago. Sa halip na parusa agad, ang inalok niya ay second chance. Ganito rin ang dapat sa mga taong nagkakamali sa pagtrato sa mga hayop. Edukasyon, gabay, at pagkakataong magsimula muli.
Ganon din dapat sa mga taong nakasakit ng hayop. Bigyan natin sila ng chance to learn, suportahan ng mga programong tumutulong sa pagbabago, focus on growth, hindi lang sa parusa.
At the end of the day, hindi lang basta pagbabawal o pag-regulate ang goal. Ang pinakamahalaga ay ang pagbabago ng puso't isipan, tulad ng itinuro ni Jesus. Ang tunay na compassion ay hindi nakabase sa batas. Ito ay nag-uugat sa kalooban ng isang tao.
Ngayon naman, we're diving deeper, examining these challenges through a profound lens of Christian ethics, and we're honored to have a special guest with us today to guide our discussion.
That's right, but Christian ethics offers a unique framework. To start, we'll be applying 4 key Christian ethical ideas: immanent solution, love as center, demarginalization, and forgiveness and transformation.
Guest speaker, let's revisit yung mga issues na napag-usapan na natin. Ang calling ng mga stray animals at ang nag-neglect sa animal shelters. How can Christian ethics help us understand and respond to these painful realities?
So when we talk about stray, cooling, and shelter neglect, so Christian ethics call for an immediate solution, meaning direct action and now. So this means we must enforce humane laws like our Animals Welfare Act. So we need to ensure local government prioritize human population control like trap neutral return. So in the shelter provide proper care. Ito yung tungkol na nagpapagaan ng pagpapakahirap kagad. And love as a center naman, ito ay nagtuturo sa atin na maging mabahagi, kaya mahalaga ang compassion education na sa mga barangay. It's about teaching responsible pet ownership, like seeing every animals as God's beloved creation as through the diversification. So we support na group of PAWs and CARA because animals often the most marginalized. They are the voiceless, we are the called for fight for.
But what about situations where there's already been harm or neglect? How does forgiveness and transformation play a role when dealing with these issues?
That's a good question. In this case, forgiveness and transformation aren't just about condoning cruelty but also addressing its root causes. Kumbaga, kailangang i-educate natin ang ating communities. Instead na i-condemn lang natin yung mga ginagawa nila, we can guide people toward responsible and loving animal care in order to actually break the cycles of neglect and abuse. I think it's more about creating a society where everyone understands their role in protecting all creations.
Beyond these ongoing challenges, we've seen new and persistent animal-related issues emerge in the Philippines from 2023 to 2024.
So, Irish, the illegal dog meat trade remains a brutal reality. Recent reports from 2023 to 2024 highlight the immense suffering involved. From a Christian ethical standpoint, what should be our immediate response to this?
This trade is a grave concern, so the Christian ethics acknowledge animals as beloved creations, not a mere objects. God created all living things and declared them good, so dogs have intrinsic value. So this trade treats them as commodities, completely disregarding their sentience and dignity. Therefore, we must advocate for laws that reflect dignity and compassion. This means stricter enforcement, dismantling these operations, and raising public awareness about the moral and legal reprehensibility of this practice. It is our duty to protect these vulnerable creations.
Another growing concern, especially in 2023-2024 year, is the welfare of animals in commercial farming like poultry and swine. We hear about overcrowded conditions and distress. Our guest speaker, Cyril, how does our faith inform our view on these practices?
Yung core principle natin in this matter is to acknowledge animals as beloved creations, not mere objects. It is about responsible stewardship and not domination. Dito kasi yung point natin is that those animals raised for food also deserve to be treated with dignity and compassion. Ang intensyon natin ay mabawasan yung suffering nila, and exploiting them merely as production units goes against this. Kaya dapat talaga na nag-a-advocate tayo for laws that reflect dignity and compassion within these industries in order to push for higher animal welfare standards, humane handling, and less cruel practices. In this matter, our faith calls us to ensure our food systems are ethical and compassionate for all creatures.
These discussions really highlight that our ethical responsibility extends far beyond human-to-human interactions. It encompasses our relationship with the entire created world.
Ngayon naman, after nating pag-usapan yung mga theories, current issues at Christian ethics, gusto naming mag-share ng something more personal.
Tama, kasi minsan hindi lang sapat yung facts. Mas dama or may impact talaga pag galing sa experience or realizations natin. So may 3 bagay kaming gustong itanong tungkol sa animal rights na gusto rin naming pag-isipan kasama kayo. Group sharing kumbaga.
Unang tanong, how has learning about animal rights through Jesus' teachings changed the way you see things? Irish, for sure may opinion at experience ka about this. Share mo naman.
Well, dati, akala ko ang animal rights para lang sa mga activist or environmentalist. Pero nung inaral na natin siya through Christian ethics, doon ko napagnilayan kung paano inalagaan ni Jesus yung mga inaapi o hindi mga pinapansin ng lipunan. So, na-realize ko na yung animals, kasama rin sila doon. Part din sila ng creation ni God, so dapat may care and compassion tayo sa kanila.
Tama, ang ganda ng sinabi mo, Irish. Iba talaga kapag nakakakuha ka ng wisdom galing sa ibang tao. Charlie, ikaw, may ibang similar thoughts ka ba?
Same here. I've always loved animals, so I understand the deeper meaning of being a Christian. It's our responsibility to protect. The compassion of Jesus, it's not only for the people, but for all living beings.
Yes, agree. Di naman kasi talaga deserve kung ano man ang nararanasan nila. Thank you, Iris and Charlie. Now, second question, have we seen or experienced animal cruelty in our community? How about you, Cyril?
Ay oo, may nabalitaan ako dito sa amin, pinagbabato yung aso. And the reason, dahil kakagatin daw siya. Hindi ka naman kakagatin ng aso kung hindi ka lalapit sa kanila. At kung hindi ikaw yung mauunang umamba sa kanila, nasasaktan mo. Isa pa, lagi ngang nakatali yun, tapos maamo naman. Sinisisi niya pa yung aso, sa kanilang dalawa, siya yung may mas malawak na pag-iisip. Kumbaga, tayong mga tao yung may pag-iisip Kaya nga nakakalungkot din talaga na wala man lang pumigil, na parang normal na lang. Ang sakit kasi sa puso isipin na are we so used to cruelty that we don't feel mad about it anymore, that we don't feel disgusted, that we don't feel the need to help.
Hala, napakasama naman nun, pero totoong nakakalungkot talaga kasi wala silang kalaban-laban. Ikaw, Apollo?
Sa amin, sa mga lugar namin na parang sinusunog at kinakain pa yung mga aso. Tapos recently may nakita kaming news sa isang pusa na tinampanan ng droga ng katawan para gamitin ng illegal activities. Nakakagulat, para bang ginagamit silang parang mga bagay.
Pati sa mga hayop, ginagamit nila ang kasamaan, paano nila nasisikmura? Kaya yung third question namin is, how can we apply Christian ethics in daily life when it comes to animals? Irish, gusto mo bang simulan?
Simple lang, maging mabait. Tulungan mo yung mga stray kung kaya mo. Kung hindi, ayos lang din naman. Basta huwag mo lang silang sasaktan kasi wala silang laban sa'yo. Hindi dapat sinusuportahan ang mga balasubas na aksyon ng mga tao dahil lang mas may lakas sila para makapanakit ng hayop.
And to add, you should speak up when you see abuse. You should share awareness, support rescue organizations. Even the smallest effort, it has impact and it will save beings who are truly in need, especially the animals.
Salamat sa pag-share ninyo. Isang lesson at reflection sa atin. Nakaka-inspire marinig na pwede pala natin yung practice yung faith sa simpleng paraan.
Exactly. Kung tunay tayong tagasunod ni Christ, dapat makita yon kung paano tayo magmahal, kumalinga at magpakita ng respeto pati sa mga hayop.
Kaya ngayon naman, ano ba yung pwede nating maging practical na solusyon para sa problema na to?
Hi, ako nga ulit si Apollo Nava. Gusto ko lang naman i-share yung ilang practical solution routine sa Christian ethics. So, una, imanit action. Gaya ni Jesus na kumikilos na agad. Pwede tayong magtayo ng animal watch group sa barangay ng mga volunteers na tumutulong sa rescue at maprotektan yung mga Irish. Ikaw na yung mag-share nung pangalawa. Thank you.
Para sa pangalawa, love as center. Dapat may compassion education sa school at churches para turuan ng mga tao kung paano maging mabait at responsable sa mga hayop.
So yung pangatlo ay demarginalization. So ipaglaban natin ang aspin at puspin. Bigyan sila ng legal protection dahil parte din sila ng creation ni God. So at lastly, forgiveness and transformation. So, imbis na puro tayo parusa, magbigay tayo ng chance to change sa mga tao na nag-aabuso through education and reintegration. So, may bonus ideas din kami dyan tulad ng AI abuse detection ng shelter and animals welfare sa ethics classes at faith-based product labels para sa mga ethical living. Lahat ng ito ay para ipakita ang tunay na pagmamahal ni Kristo at nasasalamin din kung paano natin tatuhin yung lahat ng delikha niya, pati yung mga hayop.
Salamat, Apollo. Napakadetalyado. Sangayon ako rito. Dapat lang na may pantay-pantay tayong pagtrato sa lahat ng nilikha. Bukod pa dito, ano pa yung pwede nating i-propose na solusyon?
Yes, we can also promote additional supportive measures. Pwede tayo makipag-collaborate with NGOs like PAWS, CARA, and Animal Kingdom Foundation. At the same time, with our LGUs and youth involvement programs. Sa tulong nila, mas ma-enhance natin yung enforcement of animal welfare acts at maika-campaign yung foster compassion and responsible animal care.
Maganda nga to. Tingin ko sa ganitong paraan, mas nakikita natin yung importance ng pinagsamang spiritual changes and practical solutions for this matter. At para naman sa pag-conclude o pagtapos ng ating podcast, narito naman si Ms. Charlie Santiago upang bigyan tayo ng buod at konteksto.
As we conclude episode 2, it becomes clear that the issue of animal rights is not only a matter of legal reform or environmental concern. It is deeply rooted in ethics, compassion, and spiritual responsibility. From the philosophical foundations of utilitarianism and deontology, we learn that animals are sentient beings capable of suffering and deserving of moral consideration. These theories challenge us to rethink our actions and attitudes toward non-human life. We also explored key ethical themes such as speciesism, animal personhood, and the role of veganism and sustainability in promoting a more humane and ecological responsible world. These concepts remind us that ethical living involves making choices that reduce harm and uphold justice, not just for humans, but for all living beings. Shifting to a Christian ethical lens, we found that the teachings of Jesus offer a powerful framework for addressing animal rights. Through principles such as imminent action, love as the center, demarginalization, and forgiveness and transformation, we are called to respond to cruelty and neglect not with judgment but with compassion and meaningful change. Animals, like the marginalized people Jesus embraced, deserve protection, dignity, and care. Ultimately, this episode invites us to reflect on our role as stewards of creation. Whether through ethical philosophy or faith-based values, the message is the same. Animals are not objects, they are part of a moral community. Our treatment of them reflects our humanity, our beliefs, and our commitment to justice. Let us move forward with empathy, responsibility, and a renewed sense of purpose in advocating for the voiceless.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Sana ay naipakita namin kung paano natin maaaring pagsamahin ang lohikal na pag-isip at pananampalataya upang mas mapalalim ang ating pag-unawa at malasakit sa mga nilalang na madalas ay hindi nabibigyan ng boses. Bilang mga tagasunod ni Kristo, naway maging inspirasyon sa atin ng kanyang halimbawa, ang magmahal, magmalasakit at kumilos para sa kapakanan ng lahat ng nilalang, tao man o hayop. Maraming salamat sa iyong pakikinig at pakikisa.